Celebrities earn hundreds of millions of dollars, but most of them are genuinely throwing billions without even knowing it. And today, my friends, I'll show you exactly how, because I feel this is a fundamental lesson and most importantly, a reminder for my audience, the ambitious men watching this video right now. This is for you to show you the difference between being rich and being wealthy. And that comes down to one thing and one thing only, in my own opinion. And that one thing is investing. If you're new here, my friends, hello, my name is Vic. I'm a registered nurse and certified life coach turned personal finance strategist. And I've made this channel specifically for ambitious men to help them get smarter with their money so that they feel more financially and mentally at peace. Because I know finance is one of the biggest stressors in a man's life. And money does not buy happiness, but it does buy opportunity and freedom, which are subsequently very fundamental components, ironically, towards a man's happiness. Let's get straight, my friends, but very quickly. The reason I'm using celebrities is not to diss on them in any way, shape or form, but it's because celebrities earn substantial amounts of money compared to the average person. And if they become bankrupt, which quite a few of them have done, then that clearly shows that income and being rich is not the solution. It's just part of the equation. And this is why I feel becoming wealthy as a man is one of the fundamental notions of what a man should strive for in life. To feel comfortable and at peace so he can enjoy time with his family and doing the things he loves. I say this video will not be too long, so make sure you listen carefully. Please subscribe and share.
How much does Drake make? $2.38 per second, $143 per minute, 8.6 thousand per hour, $206,000 per day, 1.4 million per week, $6.25 million per month, 75 million per year.
That is crazy. I picked Drake specifically because he generates one of the highest, if not the highest income of most musical artists, most actors, just most people in general. And from some other research I did, it does actually say that he earns approximately $60 million a year, and his net worth is approximately $250 million, but I truly believe this is way higher, and he earns way more than $60 million a year as well. Despite that, I'm sure that he earns a lot more from bigger brand deals and from other endorsements as well. Let's say he earns approximately $60 million. And you want to make sure you're listening, my friends, because I'm going to be showcasing two examples, one of which is the case of Drake currently, right now. Obviously, it's based on speculation. I don't know the exact numbers, but from what the information I could find on the internet, and then based on the ideal scenario of what I would personally do if I was Drake, which will show you, my friends, why investing is so important. Please be aware that literally no one needs to be Drake to do this. I'm going to do this with my own E.I.S.F framework that I personally use myself, that I've made, which utilizes E for essential fixed costs, I for investing costs, S for saving costs, and F for fun money. So you could literally do this with your own income, but this is my own opinion of what I personally do myself and how I move well forward in my own wealth journey towards financial peace of mind, where money is utilized as a wealth growing tool and not an issue. Drake clearly makes massive amounts of income, which means a very big portion, probably even over 50%, will go towards his taxes. So let's say he made 60 million, around 30 million of that would go just towards taxes, which is crazy. Drake has invested in Venezia FC, which I believe is a Serie A football club in the Italian league. He also invested in Dave's Hot Chicken, lots of high value real estate, like we're talking mansions, and many multiple other business ventures. I'm sure this guy is very well equipped with the best accountants in the world. And all these things that I said about Drake investing, this is from my own research that I've just done. I don't actually 100% know, so this is all purely based on speculation. From research and from the help of ChatGPT, I have found what he seemingly invests in currently. But I haven't seen any videos, I haven't seen any information online about Drake doing this at all, but I can't find any evidence that Drake is investing into, let's say, passive funds, index funds, because most of his investments, from what I'm seeing, is just into big businesses, which of course there's absolutely no problem in this, because even if Drake with 60 million after tax, you probably have 30 million, so let's say approximately he's left with around 5 million for himself, let's say. But if Drake, from that 5 million, supposedly based on speculation of course, if he was to invest just 1 million every single year into just index funds or just something passive, just literally buying it and leaving it, setting it aside, or automatically reinvesting the dividends, setting it up like this, if he was just doing that, he would approximately have around 200 million in 30 years time, which is around retirement time for the average person, right, on your pension age. Obviously, Drake is not thinking about this at all. He literally could care less, right? I'm coming in from the perspective of the average person, not a Drake status. But I'm sure this will be applicable to the majority of people here that are watching this video on YouTube, especially to the ambitious men watching this video, of course. The whole point is, my friends, is that that is almost his net worth. His net worth currently is around about 250 million. So that is almost his net worth from him passively doing things just by investing into the right things and consistently doing that, maintaining the discipline and accountability to be able to do that regularly. This is if he was to do it. With the amount that he had after buying all those mansions, supercars, parties, spending on women, whatever he's doing, obviously he can live a great life. He's making loads of income. Fair play to him. From a simpler man's perspective, let me tell you, in my opinion, what I would do if I was making this amount of money, and why I personally feel that these actors, artists that are making so much money, in my own opinion, I don't understand why they're not utilizing this to the fucking max. And I'm not even going to talk about it any longer. Let me just show you what I mean. So utilizing my E.I.S.F framework, this is personally what I would do. No joke, that I'm being completely honest. But covering my first point in the framework, which is the E, the essential fixed costs, my fixed costs would be no more than £2 million a year. Even if I was to buy the nicest house or the nicest cars, £2 million would absolutely cover me for the majority of things. I'm not a big spender at all. I would struggle spending. I'm telling you that if I had 30 million and was making 30 million every year, I would genuinely, even 50% of the essential fixed costs technically, I'm telling you, my friends, I would genuinely struggle to spend that money. I'm a very simple man. I really do not need loads of big mansions and these. I would definitely like to have massive pies and stuff like this, but these massive pies will probably be something like 20, 30K, I'd say. And even that's a lot of money. Do you get what I mean? Again, this is just the point of the video. You will see what I mean in a second. Hold on, be patient, my friend, because trust me, you're going to want to understand this and see it. I'll leave the investing bit for last because that's the thing that is most important. Savings, I would probably put around £1 million into savings every single year. And for fun money, I would actually splurge out the cash and I would have around £3 million just for pure fun, you know, just to go out and have as much fun as I possibly can, like I was saying, those parties, etc. And then the essential fixed cost of 2 million would absolutely keep more than enough maintenance for anything I have, because I would not be buying these crazy mansions or ridiculously expensive cars. Obviously, I would probably get like a nice car, but it would not be something like a Bugatti or some shit like this. By the way, these numbers can even be increased. You could easily utilize 7 million more into these 3 different categories. But anyway, and then my friends, the most important bit, we're left with £27 million now for investing costs. Let me show you. Even if you were to leave this till the age of 65. By the way, remember, you have £3 million in fun money. My friend, that is more than enough to live an incredible life every single year. That's just your fun money, dude, all right? Drake is 38 years old. He's got his birthday in a month. Happy birthday, Drake. So that's 29 years to the approximate retirement age here in the UK. Obviously, if you're in the US, maybe a tiny bit different, but basically be the same. By the way, again, my friends, this is 27 million, remember, every single year, all right? This is the thing, right? So you have this for 29 years. You're investing 27 million every single year. Again, let me say that, every single year. Why these people don't do this, I don't understand. He still has a good few million to live his life. Why? I don't understand why they're not. I get they're focusing on bigger business ventures, but again, businesses can fail. The stock market is significantly more reliable than a business, hands down, 100% in my own opinion. And it's, in my opinion, the only way you can passively grow your wealth, whereas businesses genuinely a big headache, especially running a company. You have to actually file the paperwork with accountants. They'll constantly ask you for things, etc. Having just done my first annual filings, like, it really is a bit of a headache, genuinely. And these bigger businesses, I'm sure it's absolutely way like 100, maybe even 1,000 times greater headache. So just from the 27 million, by the time he's 67, could have almost £5 billion. Almost £5 billion for doing jack shit. This is at an average nominal rate of return of 10%. I'm being very generous, I would say, with 10%, because it's actually done around 11, even a tiny bit more than 11% in the last 50 years or so, the S&P 500, right? Obviously, it depends what index fund you would invest in. For me personally, I've invested in a few, because I personally believe limiting your investments is the best way to move forward. Limiting your investments to numbers that are on a single hand is, in my opinion, the best way, because then you can literally track them down very easily. Trade-off is that you have to understand exactly what's happening, why you've invested in them, what you've done. Again, Drake billionaire status, just through investing. By the way, again, he does not need to spend 27 million. Even with 20 million, that means 7 million of that could be distributed into his other essential fixed costs or the savings or the fund money, whatever the hell he wants to do. Do you get what I mean? I think people are living too much of a luxurious lifestyle nowadays for absolutely no apparent reason. They're spending ridiculous sums of money for, again, no apparent reason. Especially being at that level of income, people just look to keep on buying and being luxurious spenders because they have a lot of money. I'm definitely more old-fashioned and a lot more boring, I would say, with this. But at the end of the day, my friends, if this is what makes you wealthy, that's the person I want to be. So I really could care less. When my head hits the pillow at night, I want to make sure that I'm as wealthy as I possibly can be and that I'm moving forward towards greater wealth. Why? Because this is what's important for me, for my own purpose, to help ambitious men as well get smarter with their money. Again, that is my main purpose. So this is what I practice and what I preach every single day. And I will not stop because this is what I believe in. This is what I like doing. And it's something that I believe genuinely any man can do. And I hope with this video, I've shown you the power of investing, how super powerful it is. YouTube recommends you watch one of these videos next. Click one and I'll see you over there, my friends.